Boomer, hello.
Hello.
It's us, sir.
So I'm Boomer. Nice to meet you. For anyone who doesn't know me, LifeForce Games, or LFG for short, we're building a couple things. One is our game generator, which is a no-code drag and drop game builder that allows anyone to build games, making it so easy that I say my 8-year-old can build a game. And we just finished our first internal prototype of that about a week ago. And then instead of just launching a platform with nothing on it, like pretty much everyone else, we're building a suite of games around it using the generator to show what's possible to be built on the platform.
So, how come you guys decided to go from a route of like creating games for people to be able to make instead of kind of creating games and then hoping people jump on it? I mean, I know that you guys have like a little bit of both, where if you don't want to create a game, you don't have to. You can just do what you're doing. But what was the incentive that you've seen, or maybe a missing market piece to allow creators to kind of create?
My background and Satsuma, the co-founder, and we're both co-CEOs background, we actually started LandVault, and that was what we grew to be from just us two to the largest third-party metaverse developer. We were primarily building on Sandbox, Decentraland, NFT worlds. And we noticed that when we were talking, and this is all during kind of the bull run, we were talking to tons of projects and communities about what they want to see, what they want built. We noticed a lot of functionality was lacking. It wasn't so much, hey, I want a social spot to hang out and replace Discord. It was, I want a fun gaming experience where our community can come together and play in potentially our own IP, and that we can control and edit and the rules of the game, so to speak, and make some fun integrations within Web3, reading wallets and all of that. And that was sorely lacking. The tools are just not there for all the other platforms. So kind of leveraging that experience is one of the reasons that led us to build LFG.
So you got your webcam on. I'll bring it up here in a second, but you guys do have a Spark Defense that's out right now, and it does seem that you guys are looking at creating a whole bunch of different things. But give me the rundown about Spark Defense.
Yeah, so we ran 2 different pre-alphas. They were kind of first playthroughs, and we wanted the communities to get involved, right? Everything we've done is all about participation. We haven't sold anything. We haven't token gated anything. We want people to vote in our community and be able to participate and enjoy gaming the way it should be. So we pushed out 2 early pre-alphas, and the first one was like 3 waves, just 2 heroes, get used to how the game could play. There's a harvester in the middle. You kill enemies by using traps, auras, your turrets, and blocking off with your walls. It's really a MOBA defense. So we've got a lot of MOBA-inspired mechanics. So your heroes have a primary ability, a secondary ability, a utility, and an ultimate. And so you're using a combination of the hero's toolkit plus the defensive structures to protect this harvester. The second playthrough, we kind of announced to everyone, like, we're trying to kill you. We're and, yeah, I mean, we wanted to make it really hard. On our end, it wasn't just to torture people. Like, we wanted to test, what happens when someone drops 800 turrets on the ground, right? What occurs, when auras are overlapping, 5-fold. There were so many use cases that we found with just a lot of people playing. I mean, hundreds of people trying hundreds of different strategies across both of our characters. Like, it was really neat to see where they kind of took the game, and that was the whole point for us. But we kind of made fun and had a tournament style where people got prizes. But really, that was 6 waves, and the last 3 were just trying to kill you as much as we could.
That sounds like an absolute time and a half. Now, you guys do have a lot more going on that's just, not just the Spark Defense, not just the game creation. It seems like you're almost wanting to deliver a game of almost every single genre. And so, I mean, the question is, like, are you guys taking on too much at this point, or do you think that you're actually, like, ahead of a lot of the games out there right now?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of work happening. And our team is really small. There's only 12 now, 13 of us. There's been 12 for quite some time. And so that's a lot of work to take on for 12 people. But everyone on our team is incredibly senior. They're really talented. They come from Web 2. It's not like we're scavenging the Web 3 Twitter sphere to to find developers. We've got some really talented people with 15, 20, 25 years experience at top studios. So we've got the game generator kind of leading the pack, and then the games behind it, which is Spark Defense, which is that MOBA Defense we just talked on, and then Forge Horizon, which is our take on a third-person shooter. I would call it more like a tech demo is going to happen in mid-March, where it's actually going to showcase what everyone could build in the game generator. So we're just going to develop a map. We want to test our systems, put people together on the multiplayer side, and let people shoot each other. That's pretty much it, using standard guns. So think of your typical loadouts, that kind of thing. What Forge Horizon will really be is there's a PvE and a PvP side to this. And we've got Spark Guide infused weapons, which is kind of this really interesting little technology that we've kind of developed with our lore. And that's what you were harvesting in the tower defense. Well, that's now used to create weapons, and there's all sorts of things that you'll be doing on a PvE side, exploring the world further, and a lot of generative dungeon work, and our map work is really interesting. And game generator is going to be the pre-alpha of that, where you can build your own shooter games. So think team deathmatch, think King of the Hill, capture the flag. You'll be able to build tower defense type games. All of that's coming at the end of May. So while we took on a lot, we're also delivering on a lot.
We talked about Spark Defense a little bit earlier, and one thing that you've talked about on your Twitter Spaces and elsewhere is that there's going to be a multiplayer component, and I think that's really cool. And the gentleman from Oldur earlier was saying, hey, like, yeah, we're working on this MMO multiplayer components as well, but it sounds like it's taking a little bit longer for people to integrate the multiplayer. So I'm wondering, from kind of the back end version of this, how long does it take to create something that's single player and then move it multiplayer, just so people have an idea?
Single player is way easier in order to build, and then there's if you're going to spin up peer-to-peer versus server auth, there's a whole different infrastructure, and it's been really kind of fascinating to kind of unfold from a game design standpoint. Which do we want to take on first? Because we're building in public, which is very difficult, and if you think about typical studios in the Web 2 space, you might hear of a game, and you might see a really expensive couple $100,000 teaser trailer, and then kind of like radio silence except for a few pieces of key art, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, the game's in beta, let's go, or the game's out. And it's because a lot of things change and a lot of things are difficult to put together. So building in public, where we want to bring everyone along for the ride. I mean, our community literally voted, named Spark Defense, they named Forge Horizon, they named our characters, they're naming the abilities. So we're not only just showcasing, but we're involving the community completely for free, right? We just want more people to interact and have fun from a gaming standpoint. It makes it a challenge of what do we push out, in what order, how do things get built. So we opted for Spark Defense to show a single player version. You were just in there playing with one hero. That's not the full game. Obviously, the game is multiplayer. You and two other friends. If you don't have friends, we'll help you make friends by having the matchmaking together. But it's really a multiplayer game. But we wanted to get it in the community's hands. We wanted feedback. We wanted them to enjoy something that wasn't $3,000 to join a scroller game kind of deal.
Yeah, so with the cost in mind, you guys have some of the stuff on Steam, or at least waitlisted on Steam, but obviously Steam seems like they're not really huge fans of blockchain stuff. So are some of your games going to be blockchain based? Is it going to be all of them when you've made a deal with Steam? What can we kind of expect from that angle?
We're up on Steam for both. We haven't pushed anything like from a downloadable live yet on there, but we've gotten approved. We're up. I can actually share my screen. So we've got Forge Horizon up on Steam, with a little sample video that you actually ran about a month ago or so, and then we have Spark Defense up as well, with our little teaser and a couple little images of what you could be building and doing. Our thought is, while we don't have anything for sale and that we don't have any blockchain enabled currently, why not get on Steam and use it for the wish list and the marketing and that kind of thing. We're tracking at the end of April for our full alpha for Spark Defense. What that would include would be all six heroes live playable. The 3v concept, so you and two friends. Crafting would be live, and we've got a really unique take on crafting, and being able to really enjoy some progression, and scaling up the gear with also our map system enabled. So quite a lot is planned in the upgrade between our pre-alpha and our alpha. I also pulled up a couple other things. So if anyone wanted to kind of see like what our heroes look like, here's all six heroes we've now released. We've got Frostea as our ranger. We've got Maisel as our medic. We've got Turnip as our warrior up here in the upper right. The bottom right is Bergsworth, who's our tank. The bottom left, the community just named him Skipper. He's our rogue. Yep.
That fits well. I like it.
It does. I'm like, oh, that's such a cool one. He's got a really cool toolkit too. Like he shoots out his hook and it goes through, pierces everyone, and then it, wherever the hook lands, it pulls him, but it stuns everyone in that hook. So it's a pretty cool mechanic. And then this nice skeleton rocker lady is up for next week. So her toolkit, she's a bard, and her toolkit and name are to be determined by the community. So nice. Voting in our Discord is going to go live on Monday, like it always does, and finishes on Wednesday. And the community will name her and what her abilities are. Yeah, but we've got some hero cards coming out that'll be really interesting, that kind of play with our lore. This may or may not be an NFT, and there may or may not be more NFTs to spawn from this. So something to keep in the back of your heads. Here's Turnip's cards. This is going to be his outfits. So part of what you're playing for in the alpha will be to unlock these fragments, put them together, and be able to get his exclusive skins. And fragments are going to be earned in various difficulties. So we've put these out, and these will not be for sale. This is only for those that are actually playing. So assuming that LFG is successful and can grow, I'd envision that these are going to be pretty high in demand, as they won't be sold and they'll be finite to the number of people who are actually playing.
Quick question from the chat here, from Devil Bull. This says, "Yo, Boomer, Mycelium here. How does Vortex come into play in LFG?"
Yeah, Vortex reached out to us for a collaboration. They're building a Steam-like platform, and we're one of the first games that's on there. So nice. They're going to bring a whole bunch of games in as they make more and more partnerships, and that'll just be one avenue to play our game, similar to, we're up on Steam here.
Boomer, these characters, you got Frostea and then Turnip that were the ones that have been playable within the other ones. Like, is all your games going to be like free to play, or like maybe only free to play with those characters and the other ones behind a paywall, or how does that work?
Do you like paywalls?
I mean, it depends.
I don't.
It depends am I making money from the paywall or not?
Okay, well that's a true Web3 degen answer there, but like from a true gamer answer, like no, I don't want to have core things in the game sit behind a paywall and only available to those that have money. So we're not completely ready to give all the details around our supporter packs, but everything in our game is free to play. You'll be able to play all the characters. You'll be able to grind, level up, do all sorts of cool stuff, and not have to pay for that. Premium cosmetics, some premium features, of course. So like as you're building games in the game generator, if you want the ability to have achievements that you can then turn around and tie different traits and different other NFTs that are in the ecosystem to those, you'll have to have the premium version of the game generator. You'd still be able to create a level for free, but if you want to create a dozen levels and have them sync together and run tournaments and all of that, like you will have to have the premium version. And we're not trying to make it like ridiculously expensive. We're talking like maybe $15 or $20 a month to have the premium version. That price is still kind of TBD, but the idea is that you'll be able to access anything that you want within the game. You'll be able to earn any of the skins. We're not going to shove all the coolest looking skins in a cash shop. I hate when games do that. We're not going to do that. Really, it's around support. If you like our games, you should want to support us because we're providing that entertainment for you and the platform for you to create and then entertain others. So that's really going to be our model. And our first supporter pack will likely go out in April. The reason we did it this way was that we didn't want to kind of exploit the community like we feel like other blockchain games are doing, where they'll sell you avatars and even claim they're 3D, and then all of a sudden their game is in pre-alpha in a year. Or, hey, we're going to sell land. We don't know exactly what this land does, but trust me, it's cool. And then a year and a half later, we're starting to learn what land does. Like, we're actually going to give away land, spoiler alert, in forms of kind of like, think of it like a hideout. We don't want people to have to pay. We don't want the barrier to entry to be money. Just like we don't want the barrier to entry to be, blockchain knowledge, right? Like, you don't have to buy a character, buy a token, know what MetaMask is, have all of that kind of set up. There's 40 things to do to get into a game. Like, ours is email, select your name, download, go play.
And do you guys foresee Spark Defense or Forge Horizon as like the flagship game? Because I mean, just looking at Immutable X, they're saying, like, hey, Guild of Guardians is supposed to be our flagship, but like, I mean, that game's not even out yet.
Yeah, we're gonna have a flagship game in every genre. So it's kind of weird, and I don't know of others that do this, but the entire like LFG ecosystem, every genre of game is kind of like a game mode. So it's not that Spark Defense sits on itself permanently and that is our flagship game, and if you don't like MOBA Defense type, it's our spin on a tower defense meets MOBA. If you don't like that, oh well, that sucks, you're not gonna like our games. That's not what we're doing. Our thought is that this is one of many genres that we are creating because we want the game generator to have a dozen different genres of games that you could create. You really like card games? Well, you can create your own trading card game inside of here. If you really like shooter games, like create your own King of the Hill game and add some PvP in, or PvE in, and throw a boss or add, waves of enemies spawning, because we can use the same technology that is anything in the platform, right? If a tower defense has waves of enemies coming, and you'll be able to say which enemies and how strong and all of where they spawn, we can do that same thing in a shooter genre. So we want people to be really flexible in what they can create. And in order to build those things, like, we have to build a game in order to pull all that logic in correctly and allow it to be manipulated from a game design standpoint in the wizard. Again, no code, drag and drop, drop down menu, slider bars, right? It's not like you're going to have to know any code whatsoever. So all of these different games, Spark Defense, Forge Horizon, and games on into the future, are going to be linked together, kind of like their different game modes. We're even taking it a lot further and saying, like, crafting things that you can craft. You're pulling out Sparkite from the ground, and you've got to dig that hole down to go down and get that Sparkite. But that's, you refine it, and that's used in leveling your gems. It's in leveling your character's abilities. But it also could be used in Forge Horizon to unlock gun perks and change around your guns and how those interact, and your passive perks. So the crafting is all going to tie together from an account dashboard concept versus like an individually siloed game.
So a couple questions in here from the chat, and if anybody does have any, feel free to throw it down and we can ask. So this is from Devil Eye. Since there is no tokens involved, no need to buy avatars to play game, how does LFG intend to raise revenue and sustain?
Yeah, so there's going to be the game generator, which is those that want to build games. There'll be a subscription type fee for that. And then there'll be supporter packs. Plenty of games make lots and lots and lots of money off people who buy cosmetics. So the thought is that if you love what we're building, because we're building fun games, that you will want to support us in that case, and that for that you will get cool cosmetics and other things that will become tradable or are tradable as NFTs and hopefully retain or maybe even exceed in value.
Yeah, and does the premium version allow to buy and sell digital assets in game?
So you'll be able to, I think if we're talking about our avatars, so you're looking at the heroes right now. We are creating avatars that are interoperable not only with our games, but anyone's games on the platform. So another way that LFG makes money is by avatar traits and customizing those avatars, not just these heroes. Digital assets from the sense of like you're buying and selling traits. Yes, you can buy traits in game. Those traits could also be used as giveaway perks. They could be used as things for achievements to entice people to play your game. Say like Schiller's playing my game and he earns this rainbow mohawk haircut. And he's like, this looks like absolute trash. I hate this thing. I'm going to go sell it, right? That's one avenue that someone could interact with the game. Two, he could say, well, gosh, I love this. Let me make this my own haircut. And he goes into the avatar builder and he changes out his hair and swaps his hair and he's good to go. The third option is that he's got a game that he has everyone on stream play and subscribe, and he's got a fantastic thing that he's built. And he says, look, if you kill 1,000 enemies in my game or you do 1,000,000 damage in my game, like you could earn this rainbow mohawk trait. And that'll be a way to entice people to want to play that might be somewhat of an exclusive that Schiller has because he owns 10 of them or he earned it and he hates it, he wants to put it in to give it away. There's a lot of different ways that people can monetize and trade. Ultimately, we want to get AI into this from a stable diffusion type concept to where you're able to essentially build custom assets and be able to put that and place that down right into your game. So LFG, assuming that we grow and scale significantly, and we're successful and the platform grows and we all make fun games, there's no way that art would be able to keep up with that demand of new art. So we're exploring opportunities in that sense to bring in AI generated art into games to make things even more unique and custom.
So two more things here. If I am not a builder or gamer, how do I benefit from being an LFG participant? I assume you have to be kind of a gamer, no?
I mean, if you don't like games, like this wouldn't be the thing for you, would be my take. Like you can't make everyone happy, I guess is how I look at it. If you don't like playing games and you're gonna buy into a project like that is a game, that's a little bit harder. But if you love lore, and if you like participating in that stuff, then we do have something available for you. And good news is it doesn't cost anything. You can come and participate and help with the world building, the lore building, the stories of the heroes, the stories of the avatars, the stories of how the biomes take shape. We have lots of little spoilers coming, but villains and different enemies. And so there's a lot you can do there. But like, if it's and I don't know who's asking it, but like if it's the DGen question of like, how do I get in, get a whitelist, mint, and flip? Like this ain't the project for you.
We can try though. The last question from Devil Eye: will LFG join Futureverse? And just as like a caveat to that, for anybody that doesn't know, Boomer is huge into the entire Fluff World ecosystem. So if anybody's like, "What in the world is that?" Futureverse is kind of the metaverse and conglomerate, I guess, behind everything that's going on with Fluffs and a lot of the other NFTs. So are you guys joining Futureverse?
Well, I think the second largest holder of fluffs now, and I think the largest party bear holder, and I've got a lot of buzzies and stuff. So I love Futureverse. I love what they're doing. I'm very excited to see all the things that they're producing. I think they're going to help mass adoption, and if they're successful, the rising tide raises all boats. I think that will cascade down to other games and other platforms. In terms of are we joining Futureverse or not, or basically are we on Root or not? I think we will see when the Root network launches what that offers and what that entails. We have not selected a chain. We have not selected where we're going or what we're doing. We've been head down building since January of 22, so about a year now. And I mean, it's also we've made it a year without selling anything because we did raise 5 million in VC funding to launch the company. But when we come out with our supporter packs, which will have all sorts of cool stuff, it'll have some premium credits. It's going to have um, some outfits from an avatar standpoint with different rarities. It's going to have cool portal backgrounds. It's going to have unique companion designs, like all for I think a relatively affordable price. That will we will have known what chain that is on by then. So
So
I'd say
with
it's coming.
with you guys not knowing what blockchain you're on, but having that component, like how tricky is it to switch between? Like, is it something that you guys have specific blockchain devs with you, or depending on who you guys go with, you jump to that, if that makes sense?
Yeah, so right now, like we don't have anyone on the team that excels and is a Solidity developer per se. Our CTO Ryan knows Solidity, has written contracts, has helped launch a marketplace before, so I'd say like obviously he'd be our resident expert from that. But also he's extremely busy with all the other stuff we're building. So I wouldn't. It would not be the best use of resources to put him onto this if we were to go that route. Um, so we're not going to end up spinning up a whole blockchain division for this. Our whole thing has been that we are going to build really fun games. So we've explored partnerships with a fantastic company called Stardust. A really big fan of what they're doing, and they're making this really accessible for studios to essentially spin up wallets to deploy NFTs. They're multi-chain. So we're excited to see where that can land us if we don't land on root.
And so you got this thing up on here, the concept art for the Forge Companion. What is this?
Yeah, this is the first time it's been seen publicly. Um, it's really interesting. So when I talked about how each game was not a game in and of itself, but it's kind of a game mode and how the whole ecosystem works together, this is like your Robin to you being Batman. And it's highly customizable, interchangeable. This is the Forged Companion. This is what helps produce the runes that you're going to end up, improving to make your character stronger. This is going to have lots and lots of utility across every game. It will make you more efficient in refining. It will, provide a torch when you're down in the depth, fighting in Forge Horizon. This could be, we called it grabby hands. You're able to swap out these different attachments, but grabby hands, like if you put that attachment on, like that will auto loot for you. Do you want it to have increased radar in the game? Well, you can stick the radar attachment on. So the idea is that all these different, it's got 4 different connectors, and that you will be able to customize your companion, whether you want to do it based on looks, whether you want to do it based on in-game utility. This little companion will have fun voice lines and emotes and animations and all sorts of stuff coming with it. It'll be free for everyone. It's not like it's a drop. Like again, this is not like a avatar type drop or a sidekick drop. Free for everyone. The skins, you will be able to earn some through the game. A lot of those will be in the shop. And it'll be very customizable. You'll be able, where we've got the LFG, you'll be able to have a face, an emo or emoji. We're gonna have lots of things that you'll be able to put this together. And so when they get put together, I think we've got one with like the actual attachments here to kind of show you like as things go together. And so this bottom left one, he's got double torches or flashlights or whatever we call it. And then those things will have skins on top of it. So if you don't like the way that looks like, and that was a default one, like there'll be things that you can earn or purchase that will change out the look of this. There'll be all sorts of fun little interactions and things that you will be able to do, including leveling this companion. So there'll be a whole leveling perk that will extend across every game that we produce.
Nice. Well, I appreciate you sharing that on here, and that looks kind of cool. And so, kind of as we're wrapping up here, is there any final things that you need to tell people that they should be paying attention to? Obviously, you said March, if I remember correctly, for some of the upcoming stuff. But is there anything else you want to mention?
Yeah, I mean, we're working on multiple things at once. So we've got lore that's kicking off next Friday. So you'll learn about the Starfall Calamity and how we got to this point. You'll start learning about Sparkites and the good and the bad of Sparkites and what that actually is. And we've got mid-March that will be kind of our demo for Forge Horizon, and you'll actually be able to start creating your own levels. You won't be able to publish them and play. We want you to kind of just experiment and poke around. We want to know from a UI standpoint what's easy and intuitive, what isn't. So that's all coming like mid to latest March. I don't have a firm date, but it is in March. The Spark Defense Alpha, where you'll be able to craft and play with friends and really have some fun and earn some cool cosmetics by playing. I think we're targeting the end of April or the first week of May. It's just going to depend on testing. There's a lot that's involved with when multiplayer gets put up. So that is coming. And then where you'll be able to create your own games, whether it's team deathmatch, capture the flag, King of the Hill, and a third-person shooter, your own maps. Really have some customizability within those game types, or even tower defense, like the pre-alpha for our game generator, which will tie everything together, will be at the end of May.
Love it. And question here from Devil Eye, where can I learn more about the partner Stardust?
Twitter, their website, Stardust. I think it's stardust.gg. Yeah, and then on Twitter, if you find them, Andy is a fantastic resource who works for them, I think, in the BD side, and andy.eth.
Love it. All right. Well, Boomer, I appreciate you taking the time today, guys. If you're wanting to follow what's going on with LifeForce, I've thrown their Twitter down in the chat. Make sure to give them a follow, and I'm assuming we'll probably have Boomer on again in another month or so for more sessions about all the updates. So again, appreciate you taking the time, sir.
Of course. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
If you enjoyed this video and you're wanting to take a little bit more of an extra part within the growth of LifeForce Games and have a say in what's being done, be sure to check out their Discord. This is a recent post from the team, and you can actually have a pretty big say in the names, creations, and other things that they do. Welcome to our first mega poll that's centered around core components of our lore. These polls will stay open for 1 week, closing on Sunday, February 12th. These polls are broken into the following sections: Sparkite, Survivors, Enemies, Triomes, Biomes, and Sacred Artifacts. We also included the pronunciation of some of the names to give you a better sense of how they sound. Have questions, pop in the Discord, and tag Snazzy. So to the polls. So for the first one here, what are the good nanites called? Spirites, Jewelbees, Lexies, Telpies, Arons, Poppins, or Speary. So right now we got Jewel Bees as the top answer, but you got to have a chance to vote in these as well as several other polls. So again, be sure to check out the Discord if you'd like to see it. Thanks so much for catching the video, and I'll see you soon.